Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020, as it's time for the show after WCW um, WrestleWar on WCW Slamboree. And we start out with our new WCW World Champion, Billy Kidman, coming out with the rest of the Triumvirate, including Lance Storm, Mike Awesome, and April Hunter, to the boos of the crowd as the announcers put over what happened at WrestleWar last night, where Rob Van Dam, Eddie Guerrero, and Kenyon had a 25-minute war, and then Billy Kidman called a shot, taking the WCW World Championship from Rob Van Dam after successful title defense, and becoming the new champion. And coming to the ring, Kidman takes the mic and says, well, well, well. I've been in this business for about a decade. But right from the start, people told me I had no chance. I was, 175 pounds soaking wet, if that. Didn't have muscles on muscles. I didn't look like a comic book hero. I didn't have catchphrases at the ready the children buy t-shirts of or that would be in foam fingers. But I could fly. I never said die. I was ready to do anything in that ring to get a reaction and to get on the big shows. I got my way into this company, first via the Nest, then I rose up on my own, becoming the Cruiserweight champion, and was the top Cruiserweights in the business. I thought I was really rising up, but I was told again, that's nice, that's great, kid, but that's your limit. You're great, opening cards, pacing things out and flying around, but look, you got nothing else. This is your limit. Admit it, cash the checks, and move on. But I refused to believe that. I thought deep down that I still had the fans behind me. So, under new management, when it looked like everything was in flux, I confronted the biggest legend in wrestling history. The legend that I thought the fans were tired of. I thought it was my moment. Only for all of you scumbags to back the orange bastard instead of me. Right there, in this ring, being sent through a table by an old man, when I decided something had to change. Because really it was, I moved on to being this monkey little fireplug fighting, rising to the top, being the underdog. Falling just short all the time. I knew I was the best wrestler in the world. I had a gorgeous fiancée that none of you morons would have a chance at. And I knew I could do something more. But I had to wait for the perfect moment, especially with the chaos that was going around. So I waited, and I waited. I waited for new ownership, for new management, and then the perfect moment to turn on the supposed greatest cruiserweight of all time and rise up. I found somebody new in my life, as he points out, April Hunter. But I was still missing that last piece, and that piece was these men, the greatest technical wrestler in the world, and the king of extreme. We fooled you all into thinking the best tag team business was breaking up, only to come back together and screw O'Hare over and form the Triumvirate. Three men left behind by the new WCW, taking what we deserved and what was ours. But all of that was just a lead up to what was truly the perfect moment. That was last night. A 20-minute war. That was no doubt the time. For months, I'd held this cold shot. You were asking me, what pay-per-view would I get a shot at? Would I open up Nitro for a title shot? Would I go into a match and make it a three-way? No. I knew this was what we had to do. Because a 1-1 wouldn't be enough. It had to be this. Three men going to war for 20 minutes. And whoever would have won. We would have taken that title off their hands like stealing candy from a baby. So, nothing personal in yet. But this is mine now, as he points at the championship. And all of you out there in the rest of the world can talk about how I won it. Forever, I will be a world champion. And there's nothing you can say about that. This belt makes me the most important person in the business. It means I get to dictate the terms and make sure none of us in the Triumvirate will ever be forgotten again. So, good promo. Unfortunately, Kidman rolled badly on the script, which, happens. But I still got, good stuff for got the show off strong. And then out comes Eric Bischoff. And he basically says, hey, look, Kidman, congratulations. I'm the last person to say that, doing whatever you needed to rise to the top is something that you shouldn't do. But there are consequences for doing that. So first, at Slamboree, Rob Van Dam will get his rematch for the title in a one-on-one match. Actually, go ahead and add that. World Championship. Second of all, you three, it's great you're here. I know, Storm and Asa, you're on Revolution, but I called Teddy and he's fine with you tonight. You're going to face Rob Van Dam and America's Most Wanted in a big 6-man tonight. And here's something important that after nearly a year and a half, at Slamboree will be Assault on Anarchy 2. Tables, ladders, chairs, whatever matter of destruction you want to get in that ring, to climb to the top and take the tag titles. It's going to be America's Most Wanted defending those titles, but if you want in that match, you got to earn your way into that match. And last but not least, Kidman, you're right, the champ is important. The sign on marquee says World Championship Wrestling, not Billy Kidman. And I advise you to remember that. So again, 78, strong stuff, setting up our 6-man ladder tonight, and doing things else. And then Bischoff rolled badly, then Kidman improvised well. Sure. Then before our opening match, we have some quick highlights, basically photos courtesy of WCW Magazine. Basically, the Sydal retaining the Cruiserweight Championship and then getting attacked by Austin Aries, which sets up this tag match for tonight. That only gets a 31. As it's our two champions, Alex Wright and Matt Sydal, teaming up to face against Austin Aries and Jason Jett. Back and forth match, solid, quick, high impact match. Austin Aries, does some big strikes, his, big indie offense. Jason Jett flies around a bit. Alex Wright tries to keep things grounded. Sydal does his own flying. Back and forth. Eventually, Jett actually gets right out of the ring. Aries is able to take advantage, hit a quick low blow, then pick him up, a quick little snap brainbuster, and get the pinfall victory here on WCW. Really, the pinfall victory over the WCW Cruiserweight Champion in a 66. Wright gets a 74, Matt Sydal gets a 51, Jason Jett gets a 72, and Austin Aries gets a 46. Aries is off his game. Aries and Jett have excellent chemistry team together, which is interesting for the near future. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, 66, solid stuff. And something I'm going to try to do is, in order to help them get over, is team the cruiserweights with sort of my more mid-card, upper mid-card folks in tag team matches and such, just to sort of get everybody over. And afterwards, Aries makes title belt motions, as he did do someone on attack, but he just got a big win over the Cruiserweight Champion 24 hours after that Cruiserweight Champion got a big win at WrestleWar. This gets a 48 just because it's a quick segment. And then we go backstage where a limo has arrived, and out comes Ric Flair with some, ladies, because it's Ric Flair in 2005. And he says, Borash asks him where he's up. He says, the Nature Boy is back. Borash, but truthfully, after Starrcade, the dirtiest player in the game had to do some thinking. And reality is, I'm a 15-time world champion, but I can only do this for so long. It's time for the Nature Boy to look toward the future, like I have so many times before. Men like Lex Luger, Barry Windman, Sid Vicious, Sting, Brian Pillman, Kanyon, and more. And Borash asks him, are you talking about the Return of the Horsemen? No. You see, Horsemen are great. It's one of those things I'm most proud of, brother. But the Horsemen are the past. Now, it's about some evolution. Woo! And Flair walks away as this gets a 79. And Flair's back. And yeah, now Flair's going to be looking for some people who can evolve the pro wrestling business. Yes, I'm still in the name Evolution, but, what can you do? And then we basically have a little promo package where O'Hare is doing backstage, not backstage, but basically at a gym. And he says, already, asked what's next. I beat Toro's ass, reminded him that this isn't the Roman Empire, this isn't Roman times anymore, and it's the future. But what's next? What's next is for the directions to stop. What next is I'm back in the gym. What next is I'm ready to fight anybody. What next is always what has been next and what should be next for any professional wrestler. The WCW World Championship. Remember, 6 months ago, I lost that title thanks to some damn BS. But I stepped away because other men had earned a shot. But nothing personal, Van Dam. And I'm glad you got to get an actual match against Kidman for that title. But whoever walked out of Slamboree champion, I want to remind everybody watching on TV and everybody single WCW fan why I brought a future shock to WCW and why I once again will be the world champion. 90, really good promo from O'Hare. So sort of resetting things and, pushing him forward. And then you have a fun little cruiserweight match as Jerry Lynn and Neil Skipper. This is nothing fancy. Like, this is, I mean, I'm sure they had a X Division match during this time period that was just as good. Just like two guys, doing their spots, doing their big spots, but eventually, like, nothing really fancy here. Eventually, Skipper hits a few big moves and then hits the overdrive right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3, and gets a big win over Jerry Lynn here on Nitro as it gets a 62. Just so Skipper gets some momentum back after, doing the job on the pay-per-view. As Lynn gets a 51, Skipper gets a 55, and nothing fancier, just a cruiserweight match to fill some time. As this gets a 53, as Skipper celebrates after the match. And then we have a basically a promo filmed last night after the pay-per-view as Don Frye and Randy Savage are leaving. And, they're asked by the cameraman if they got any remarks about, beating Goldberg. And Savage is like, here, my remark. It's over. Goldberg's name should not be mentioned again when it comes to us ever again. Dig it! Because tonight, we proved in that ring, Goldberg, you're a myth, you're a paper tiger, you're nothing, and this man is the most dangerous man in the world. And we're on to what we should be moving on to. Gold, money, and what we need. Because this man is going to be the rise to the top because he is the cream of professional wrestling. Oh yeah, can you dig it? And then Savage and Frye walk away. 77, fun little promo, basically saying they're done with Goldberg, and there we go. And then we go backstage where Truth is walking backstage, and he basically turns a corner, and he walked into a Triumvirate about to do a backstage promo, and Truth's like sort of like about to walk away, saying, then back away, and then Lance Storm's like, hey, you want to walk into our part of the building? We could just tear you apart. I could take that title off you like it was nothing and make you tap out just like that. As Storm snaps his fingers, and then, or April Hunter says, or maybe you might Awesome will just powerbomb me into next week. And Truth basically isn't afraid. He's like, look, I'm happy to take on all comers. That's what the TV champion is all about. But you guys are busy tonight, and I'm the TV champion. So, you want to fight? Come fight. Once you're done with what you got done, what you're doing in the main event tonight. But the truth will set you free, and the truth you got to realize is I got the gold, and you don't. 81, fun little backstage stuff, building possibly something up, or maybe just a fun little backstage promo. Then we cut to our RVD and our tag team champions, American Most Wanted, backstage. As basically they tell RVD, they're sorry what happened. It's BS what happened out there. And Van Dam's like, no man, it's cool. Look, no excuses. I forgot about Kidman. I admit that. I should have been ready either to fight or figure out a way to get back to the back before he could have, called a shot and done whatever. But after tonight, Kidman is going to be reminded why he waited till I'd been in a 25-minute war to take the WCW Championship away from me. Tonight, I got the tag champs by my side, and everybody, including Triumvirate, will be reminded why I'm Mr. Monday Night. Then AMW step in and says, if you don't like that, sorry about your damn luck. So, decent little fun promo to build up the main event later tonight as this gets an 80. And then, as we come back from commercial, we get some basically highlights of the pay-per-view. Again, pictures courtesy of WCW Magazine, focusing on Rey and Mesias, including Mesias eventually chokeslamming Morningstar and walking away as that gets to 72. And then we have oof. Okay, this was unfortunate. I thought this would be a little better. I thought, yeah, yikes. Okay, that's unfortunate. That's quite unfortunate. So, Seekers of Sin kill two of our members of our Cruiserweight division, Itaka and Roberts, in a little 4 minutes. Total squash match. Claw slam by Rothschild. They get a 35. Killswitch gets a 49. Killswitch gets a 39. Or gets a 39. Gets a 43. Match goes cool throughout. Rothschild has a stale gimmick. Yeah, hopefully this won't hurt things too much. But yeah, just a complete squash as the just really put over, Seekers of Sin. And can you put over, what happened last night at pay-per-view between Mesias and Raven. And then Raven takes the mic afterward as Seekerson has laid the team to waste. And he says, I'm sure some of you are surprised the monster is not beside me. The reality is, the monster is under no one's control, which means he is truly dangerous for the first time he's been in WCW. When a power has been unlocked to explode on its own, it is truly beautiful. You know what it means, Morningstar? Your defenses are gone. The message is about to be ripped apart from root to stem. This is your Armageddon. You only must accept it and simply walk away into the darkness and never get in my way again. See, whether it's myself, the Seekers of Sin, or Monster on Warpath, Deadpool is finished. Quoth the Raven, nevermore. So 74, solid promo from Raven. Came this fun little storyline, and the idea now is Mesias is on his own. Who knows what he's going to be doing? And then, wow, okay, this was actually really good. Then we go backstage to basically a video package where we first start with clips of basically Brother Ray partying after the pay-per-view last night at a dive bar, throwing down shots, taking pictures with fans, basically celebrating. And then we cut to basically like later in the night, and Brother Ray cutting a promo saying, this is what it's all about. Getting that ring, fighting against an SOB like Jarrett, and reminding him what a true fight is like. And celebrating the night with people, you go just as hard as you can, drink by drink. You see, tonight was only the beginning of reminding anybody who steps up to Brother Ray, you better be ready for the fight of your life. So 92, really good stuff. Again, getting Brother Ray over after the big win against Jeff Jarrett, and we'll see what he does next. And then we have a quick little backstage stuff where Teddy Hart and Jack Evans are both hurting. Teddy Hart actually has a real injury in game, which I forget what it was, but he's only about for a couple days. And, they basically say, pay-per-view didn't prove anything. Sure, we didn't beat you in KO, but you didn't kick our ass either. We still got to get back in the ring and truly prove who is a better tag team. And we know, deep in our heart, it's us. We have the fans behind us. And we will, oh God, sorry, I worded that badly. Our legacy will not be tarnished by you guys. 66, fun stuff. Like, Hart and Evans are basically out for the week as we build things up, and then we'll go see what happens next week. And then before the tag match, which is going to be Tank and Leppan versus Tajiri and Chavo, Ric Flair comes out to the ramp and watches the tag match before it begins, which gets a 70 and a pop, and then the match is on. Which gets a 75, which is actually better than I expected. And it's your pretty standard tag match. None of these, these four guys are all pretty solid workers. Tajiri's really good, Chavo's Chavo. But, it's your basic, tag match. Like, work on Chavo, heel tactics, quick tags, blind tags, a lot of fun stuff. But eventually Tajiri comes in, does some big kicks, locks in tarantula, stuff breaks down. But eventually, like, Leppan is, like, sort of, like, playing to Ric Flair. And, Toland is playing to Ric Flair. And that distracts him just enough for Chavo to basically, like, hit him with a big move, hits the brainbuster, goes up top, hits the frog splash, and gets his pinfall victory over Toland and Leppan, giving them a little bit of momentum back after losing last night to Jindrak and Divine. So this gets a 75, Chavo gets a 67, Tajiri gets a 63, Leppan gets a 65, Toland gets a 71. Solid stuff. Toland and Leppan have great chemistry, will team together, and Tajiri and Chavo celebrate after the match, as Flair sort of smirks and walks to the back as it gets a 69, as the announcers put over, they're still not clear what Ric Flair is looking for, but it seems he is doing some scouting of tag teams to see what tag team he could possibly back as part of his evolution of professional wrestling. And then we have a backstage promo where Jeremy Rashes with Reno, of course, returned last night and attacked Shane Helms, helping Helms and Tomko lose the match against the tag team champions America's Most Wanted. And, Boris basically asks him what he did here, and he says, he can admit Helms saved his career. He was going nowhere, and I don't know where he'd be out without him in the WCW career. But you can't forgive someone for everything just because they helped you out a little bit. Because see, that's what he did after the draft hurt so much. If you want to do something else, if you want to bring in Tomko, no harm, no foul, I do my own thing. But he brought in some bodyguard from out of nowhere to try to take me out and send me out of this company. That was the mistake you made, Shane. See, Shane, I could have walked away. We could have done our own thing, and that would have been cool. But I gotta remind you why you brought me with you in the first place. I was the muscle. I was the guy to throw people around, to attack from behind, to follow the back, to send through a table, to nail with a chair, to spear through a guardrail. You talk the talk, Silver City's rollers walk the walk. That's all over now, but I'm back on Nitro, Shane, to remind you that legacies shouldn't be forgotten. So, solid promo. This gets a 65. Reno, not the best talking guy, but what can you do? It's sort of like setting up, reason why he attacked Helms. Yeah, even though it should be fairly obvious, but just in case fans forgot, in the last couple months since Tonko took him out. And then we have a Revolution recap focusing on the tag match last week. And then it's time for our main event. It gets us so really, 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 really good match. Yeah, I mean, again, Awesome, Storm, and Kidman are doing great ratings. And AMW is really solid. So is Van Dam. And this is just 17 and a half minutes or so of just really great, fantastic wrestling. Storm doing technical stuff, Awesome throwing people around, Kidman playing cocky heel, RV trying to get his hands on Kidman, but basically being kept apart from a few flurries. AMW working together like the tag team champions they are. But eventually, things break down, and Lane Storm, Kidman actually RVD hits a big sunset flip powerbomb on the Kidman onto the outside. They start brawling. Awesome chucks Harris out of the ring, and they start fighting. But back in the ring, Lance Storm hits a big super kick on James Storm, almost gets a pinfall victory, goes for kicking Maple Leaf. Storm kicks him off. Storm goes for the exciting ride. Storm turns it into a roll-up, puts a foot on the ropes. 1, 2, 3. Storm and Awesome get a pinfall victory over the tag team champions here on here on Nitro as Triumvirate get the win. This gets an 85 overall. Kevin gets a 90, Storm gets an 87, Awesome gets a 91, Harris gets a 71, Storm gets an 80, and RVD gets a 94. And overall, the show itself gets us an 86. So solid stuff. So, yeah. And part of what I did there was, if you notice, there's two big promo things from O'Hara and Brother Ray. But if you notice there, no Canyon, no Eddie, no Toro. O'Hara and Brother Ray weren't in matches. Jarrett wasn't on the show. And we still got that basically with just a strong main event. So I just wanted to see what we could do. We'll keep in sort of people off the TV, sort of realism. Not quite realism reason, but just to see if we could do stuff with that. But anyway, let's see here. Raw. See, I always hate when the ratings just seem to randomly not stop working, going correctly. Because Nitro's still getting what it should be, 2.1. But all of a sudden, in 1 week, Raw's rating just went to crap. Let me actually figure it. Okay. Now I'm actually curious. WWE. View profile. Events and TV. Raw. Okay. Yeah, it's still a primetime slot on Paramount. And Paramount, Paramount's still a big... It's still a big show. So... Let's see here. Events TV. Again, Showcase. There shouldn't be any overlap. And it's not like they're doing badly where they would drop in ratings. Sometimes this game is very, 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 very just annoying. Because I'm sure there's something obvious going on in why the ratings dropped in half in 2 weeks, but I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, they got an 89. So I'm not going I'm going to pretend I don't know what I'm going to do. It's because I liked the little ratings thing that was happening, but not the end of the world. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted there. Anyway, so let's look at what they did. We had Christy Cummings defeating Elizabeth Love, Veronica Vane defeating Selena Majors, Scott Vick. Okay, it's really weird. Orton's doing random jobs. I'm not sure what they're doing here. Why he's the guy do did he get there was, I just want to make sure there was no there's no random scandal with old Randy, is there? No, okay, just the it's very weird. Because he's the only one doing random jobs with the mid-card people. Anyway, let's see, we had an Austin promo, Regal promo, Molly Holly and Cherry Slice defeating Amber James and Sneakman in 77, Edge defeating Ron Ronran in 91, Top Shelf defeating Steve Richards and Bummergrind in 83, and a main event Triple H and Chris Jericho defeating Undertaker and Benoit in a random 99, because why not? Yeah, I'm still not sure what's going on with the team. Because let me find SmackDown. There we go. Yeah, same thing. SmackDown. It shouldn't be only getting 800,000. Because they're size wise. Yeah, they're like have a 95 everywhere. So, like, I'm like really like it's just really confusing why they're like not doing better when like again like if we go to show history like if I go back to this like random SmackDown they were doing like 2.2 million viewers and then all of a sudden it's like hey no more. I mean the only thing I can figure out is maybe because they've been out of the country the past two shows. I mean maybe that's right but that like shouldn't like matter because like Raw did normal ratings and then this Raw in Wales, in England, did like half the ratings. I'd have to double check my. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted by this because it's wacky. Anyway, um, so yeah, this they got an 89, so slightly better than we did. Let's see, independent wrestling: Briscoe Brothers versus Olsen Twins. Sure. Uh, yeah, nothing else really of note. Male wise, let's see here. Yeah, oh yeah, Teddy Hart had a back strain, so basically like he just hurt his back. Yeah. I'll be back in just a second with Revolution. Hey, welcome everybody to Revolution live from the BGC Arena in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama, as we continue on the road to Slamboree. And we opened up, try the Revolution, which we say Nitro came out with the Triumvirate coming out to the boos of the crowd. Kidman holding up the title. Now starts putting over what happened at WrestleWar. And, after Kidman basically, because his same basic promo saying, this is the end, this is the goal, what we always wanted together. Become champion and to be unimpeachable at the top. But tonight on Revolution here, got a big match. Three men all wanted this title. But here's the thing. None of them have a goddamn chance. I mean, look, I've already proven I'm better than Rey so many times. It's almost old. Then there's those other two lunkheads. When I got sweet talked by some random bleep at a biker bar, and everything's being the 9th string linebacker on a super team actually matters in this business. Sure, you can fight, whoever wins, I'll be able to take on, and remind everybody why I'm the world champion. QT Long coming out and says, Playa, I should be happy that someone from the Revolution is champ. Why did it have to be you? Kidman's sort of upset about that, and Long waves off, and Becky says, look, tonight, you're not getting involved in that main event. Kidman acts like, why would I be? But I was on a phone call with Bischoff earlier today, and we came to a conclusion. Tonight, Assault on Anarchy will involve both Revolution and Nitro tag teams. And Storm and Awesome, I don't have to like you to respect your ability, but you still got to earn your way into that match. So, yes, you beat AMW, got a pinfall over the tag team champs last night on Nitro. That's great. But you still have to earn your way. And that's why next week on Revolution, you'll be facing Paul London and Dean Malenko, with the winners moving on to Assault on Anarchy. Big pot for that. As Storm and Awesome are upset they have to actually earn their way, but they're fine with it. Kidman says, fine, put whatever you want in front of us. We will not be denied. 84, decent stuff as we move forward. As youngsters put over 3 huge matches for tonight on a big edition of Revolution as we head towards SummerSlam. I mean, not SummerSlam, but Slamboree. As it's going to be Jamie Knoble versus Ken Anderson, Gail Kim versus Celine Cartier for the WCW Women's World Title set up, and of course, the main event of Rey Jr. versus Chuck Palumbo versus Monty Brown, and a triple threat match for a world title shot in the future. This gets to 74 as we go to the ring. Voting match, which is Jamie Knoble versus Ken Anderson. Fun stuff as Ken Anderson goes right after Knoble. There's a big fun brawl. Knoble tries to keep Ken down, but Ken fights back. Ken's really over because it's the Southeast where he wrestled at Wildside forever. Throws Knoble around, goes for his big rolling forward slam, the Kenton Bomb, but Knoble turns it into a submission hold. Anderson fights out of it. Anderson brawls again, hits a big boot, throws his own hold to the outside, but then Knoble on the outside takes out Anderson's knees and tries to lock him in submission, but Anderson fights out. So eventually, Knoble, like Anderson, goes for the Kenton Bomb again. Knoble elbows out of it, hits a DDT, hits a big German suplex, and again tries to lock in guillotine choke, but Anderson blocks him. So Knoble hits a blatant low blow, rolls Anderson up, puts his foot on the ropes, And 1, 2, 3 gets a pinfall victory in a little bit over 11 minutes in a really good match, as it gets an 81. Knoble gets an 83. Anderson gets a 76. As then, Knoble right after the match, like as the bell rings, gets absolutely drilled with a knee to the back from Knoble. Knoble goes outside, grabs a chair, goes after Anderson and to take apart his knees, but Anderson's ready, rolls away, and then blocks the chair, takes it away, and chases after Knoble to the back as the crowd cheers as it gets a 69. It seems this feud must continue. Then we go backstage where Chuck Palumbo is with Raven Reign. Backstage with his old lady. He says, tonight's the first step of the end of the journey that began when I met my old lady. Tonight is when I remind everybody that Revolution is my show. Rey Jr., nobody can deny your talent, but all the talent in the world won't matter when you got somebody twice your size throwing you around. Being the greatest cruiserweight champion is great, but it means nothing against a size 16 foot. And Monty Brown, this is my business, and my business is winning titles. Nothing personal, but don't get in my way tonight. A solid, quick promo from Palumbo, putting things over as it gets his own 8, as reviewing, massages his shoulders and whispers sweet nothings in his ear, as it gets a 78 as we move forward. And then we have a fun little fatal 4-way, as we have members of 4 big tag teams in the women's division, as we see Music from European Disunion, Lexi James from Captivation, Annie Vidal from the Social Scene, and Ronnie Jonah from Ronnie Jonah and Natty Neidhart. And this is a fun match, and sort of the idea here is right from the start, Busick is trying to get submissions in, but Lexi James continues breaking them up, trying to get pinfall victories. Ronnie Jonah gets to play the underdog babyface, get some fun stuff in. Annie Vidal fights around, and eventually things are breaking down, and it looks like Busick is actually going to lock Vidal in a submission. Lexi James comes over and breaks it up, tries to hits Lexi DT on Vidal, but Busick pushes away, and as they're arguing, Vidal sort of drop kicks Busick into James. James goes the outside. Vidal then rolls Busick up and gets a quick pinfall victory, 1, 2, 3, and a huge victory over one half of the women's tag team champions. As it gets a 53, Busick gets a 57, Lexi James gets a 51, Annie Vidal gets a 45, and Ryan Jonah gets a 39. Fun stuff on the undercard here, as we sort of got to get the women more in ring time. And post match, Busick and Lexi argue post match as Vidal celebrates on the outside, as sort of this little swirling mess of the women's tag team division continues, as this also gets a 51. And then go backstage with Rey Jr. This gets an 80, as he says, odds are against me tonight. That's nothing to do. That's been basically my whole entire career. Even when I was amongst cruiserweights, I was smaller than them. What's new is possible opponent. You see, when I was Rob Van Dam, I was looking forward to a fantastic match and obviously a chance at the World Championship. But now, I say, Billy, this is personal. Every time I think it's over between us, something else pops up and gets us back together. They only initially betrayed me. Gold on the line. Tag titles. Then jockeying for position on Revolution. Finally, though, is what we've both been fighting for ever since we came to this company, the World Championship. You got it your way, and after tonight, I'll have a chance to do it my way right in the middle of this ring. So again, decent promo, 80 putting things over. And then we go backstage where Amy Weaver is with Joanie Laurer as she asks, if you want to respond to Tricia Skye. And Joanie's like, why should I? She was doing some charity work before I would have ended the career of that Alicia woman. And Amy Weaver steps and says, Alyssa. And Joanie's looks at her, what? Her name is Alyssa. And Joanie sort of laughs and says, do you think I care? I'm the next evolution of women's wrestling, and for a reason. And if Tricia truly thinks that one-on-one, she has a chance in hell against me, then I'll be happy to remind her that this is my ring, this is my division, and anybody that gets in the way will end up like so many others have, flat on their backs, not knowing where they are. 85, really good promo, continuing to build up the Tricia Skye feud. And then we have Keith Walker killing Trevor Rhodes, up from our Dev territory since we're in the Southeast. And yeah, Keith Walker just kills him in 3 minutes, stoppage. Just again, the fight pit continues, just throws him around, locks him in, and just grounds and pounds him before the ref calls for the bell. This gets a 39. Keith Walker gets a 48. Trevor Rhodes gets a 52 because we're in the Dev territory home. And yeah, fun stuff. And then, we have Tori Wilson in the ring, hyping up Keith Walker, saying, he's one of the most talented young wrestlers in the world, and she's going to bring him to greatness together. And she's going to prove he's one of the best fighters in the world. When Finley, who hasn't been on for a while, comes out and says, it's a personal lassie, but I know it's a back-end career. but I'm kind of for one reason. Keith, I want to fight. I want one last fight against you to prove if I still got it or not. Walker agrees, and it seems like we've got a match for the future between Keith Walker and Fit Finlay, as this gets a 46. Then we go backstage where Emmy Weber has caught up with Ken Anderson as he's sort of like, chuckling, sort of smirking and cackling about this as he's walking around. And Emmy Weber's confused, like, why are you happy about this? Like, Knoble got the win over you and almost took you out. And Anderson's like, look, lady, I lost, but look what he had to do. Look, Jamie, what you had to do. You had to do everything, risk it all, and you barely got the win. Then you tried to go for the bonus round and failed, buddy. Knoble, you tried to take me out. I can respect that. But that was your mistake. You don't hunt what you can't kill. And right now, I'm still standing, which means I'm coming after you, Knoble, one way or another. 77, good promo from Anderson, building up the feud with Knoble. We go backstage with Monty Brown, which gets an 86. And he says, I've always been the best wherever I've gone. Junior high, wrecking fools when I really didn't know what I was doing. High school, All-American. College, full-ride scholarship. NFL, Super Bowl. Wrestling, same thing. I came in, match after match, winning. Nobody could stop me. Beating veterans and legends, even taking out the supposed man. Finally, though, tonight, it's time for me to prove that it's time for Rey or Palumbo to feel the pounce and then move on and become the world champion. 86. Good stuff. Moving forward. As then we have our women's title match. So this is, back and forth match, like Gail Kim doing her, high flying and bit of heel work, avoiding some like big brawling and power moves from Celine Cartier. Cartier goes for the Slice Leve, the air raid crash in the middle of the match. But Gail Kim rolls out of it, hits a big suplex, goes on offense. Eventually tries to hit the eat defeat, but Celine Cartier gets out of the way. She goes back on offense, back and forth, little maneuvers, reversals, all that fun stuff. Eventually, it looks like Cartier gets Gail Kim up for the Slice Leve. Gail Kim reverses it one more time, hits a reverse DDT, then rolls outside, grabs the title belt, and in full view of the referee, nails Cartier with the belt to get herself disqualified and keep the title. Hey, it's a TV title match. It's a title match on TV. What do you expect? This gets an 81. Gail Kim potentially gets disqualified. Cartier gets a 69. Gail Kim gets an 85. Gail Kim was not that happy about jobbing, but, kept her strong. And there you go. And as, Cartier is chasing after Kim, when out of nowhere, coming out from the back to attack Gail Kim is Alley Danger, going after Celine Cartier with a kendo stick, beating her down as Gail Kim laughs at the top of the ramp. So this gets an 80. And there we go. Yeah, her Danger gimmick got a initial rating of great. Fun stuff. Then it's time for our main event. Or no, first we have a natural recap, focusing, of course, on the big six man. And there we go, 72. Nothing too fancy there. And then, oh, right, I forgot there was one more thing. So basically we have AJ, London, and Malenko all hyping up Rey backstage. Malenko simply nodding at him. London, saying, you were the one who taught me to, not get out there and die for the crowd. And AJ's like, look, I wish it was me out there. I have to be honest about that. Rey, you were both of our mentors for a reason. So get out there and kick some ass. Rey agrees and heads out to the ring as it gets an 83. Then we have our actual main event, which gets us, what hurt this? What hurt this? Okay, low experience, poor announcing, I might really have to think about finding a better color. Like, I thought Savage as a color commentator would be good enough, but, it's really not doing what it needs. I mean, also better announcing, yeah, I mean, today's solid enough, I thought, but, yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, I mean, this is the exact match you expect from, these three guys, bench, at the start, it's Monty and Palumbo teaming up to just kill Rey. Just throwing him around, tough, Monty Brown, actually hits the pound within the first couple minutes of the match, but then Palumbo takes him and hits the full throttle. But then, of course, what do you expect happens, and they start fighting. That allows Rey Jr. to recover. He hits some offense in, but, he's playing from behind the whole match because, well, it's these two big SOBs throwing around, and only thing that's really stopping them getting the pin on him is each other. But eventually, late in the match, Rey, Rey Mysterio actually hits a big springboard hurricanrana on Monty Brown, but at the last second, Monty turns it into a powerbomb. And looks like he's going to hit him for the pounce. But Rey Jr. gets out of the way at the last second, ducks under, and Monty's dives into the ropes and ends up on the outside. It looks like Palumbo is going to come out, then actually nail Rey Jr. with the full throttle. But Booker T is at ringside. Palumbo yells at Booker T. Booker T just sort of stares at him. Then Sharmell and Raven Reign start getting into a catfight at ringside. And that's enough for Palumbo to end up getting nailed from behind by Rey Jr. 619, Spring Hurricanrana. 1, 2, 3. Rey Jr. is your new number one contender, at least on Revolution, for the moment. This gets an 80, again, because of the poor color. Yeah, that's really unfortunate, as this would have been like an 88, 8 or 9. And post-match, Kidman, Booker T heads out. Palumbo goes after him. Monty Brown rolls to the outside. Rey Jr. is celebrating. The Triumvirate come out, but then out come London, AJ Styles, and Malenko to back up Rey Jr. to sort of stand with him against the Triumvirate as the answers put over everybody, as it gets an 86 to close things out. And overall, this gets us an 82. Okay, not not quite what I wanted there. Yeah, that final, that final. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to think about the announcing situation on Revolution here, because I thought at least we did decent TV wise. Yeah, still did okay. It's just annoying. OVW. I mean, I'll go over with that with you guys in a minute. That's sure some interesting booking though. Yeah. Brian Cage is frustrated. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Email otherwise, yeah. Billy Kidman thinks. I mean, hey, Billy, she is. But yeah. Anyway, so as a quick note, just go over storylines. So, Against the Darkness has a 77. Chosen Backgrounds has a 76. Cruiser stuff has a 66. Of course, some of the stuff is just I haven't changed storyline because there's not new storylines yet. Goldberg Fries at an 80. The X-Men, the Heart Legacy versus Nintendo Feud is at a 66. Helm's Legacy starts out at 58. El Toro's at 78. Obviously, that's over. Eddie Canyon's at an 83. Harrison Storm by themselves at the moment is at 77. Van Dam's Revenge is at an 82. Beautiful Violence is at a 59. Wright Cash, well, okay, that's sort of a spoiler, but it should be expected. Disunion or Disorder is at a 51. Celine Cartier to Gail Kim, which I need to rename, which I'm going to do right now. She apologized about the head bitch in charge. There we go. So anyway, Little Jerks at a 74. Revolution Rising, which is sort of our main event, Wacky Feud, is at an 83. The tag feud between Awesome Storm versus Malenko and London's at an 86 of all things. Who's in Charge is at an 83. And Women at War starts at a 77. So there you go. And then we go to the beautiful WWE. You have SmackDown, which had, let's see here, Shaniqua versus Elizabeth Love in a cage match, and it got a 54. Brock Lesnar killing Scott Vick in a 90. Kane defeating Orton, Funaki, and Saturn in 85. Sure. Edge defeating Ron Armin in 88. Top Shelf defeating Steve Richards and Buck Grind in 82. And Taker and Benoit defeating Rico and Jericho in a 99. Because sure, why not? And again, I find amusing the game is booking Benoit a lot more now that he isn't champion. Again, if we go to our dev territory, Wildside TV show, Kanzuki versus Ryan Drago. Suzuki's still not that great. Kai Graves, Trevor Roden, Stone Mountain, Matt Cross, Kent Cole, and Matt working. Again, all these guys are working. They're getting there. Oh, right. I keep on forgetting, they're in the Mid-South, so all these ratings don't really matter. For Weekly House Show, we had Mukaki and Kinya and Ungaya defeat Kent Cole and Rick Myers to retain the NWA tag titles. Where do you guys work? 0-1. Okay, that makes sense. Rayman and Matt Morgan defeat Dagenbirds and Ryan Drago. Tony Jones, Claudio, JC Daz defeat Kenzo, Matt Cross, and Bobby Lashley. Interesting. Kishin Kiwabata defeat Siaki and Ortiz, retain NWA World Junior title. Kaiser Riley, Kai Graves, and Chance Rock retain NWA Junior Heavyweight. Okay, I don't think that belt has the right things on it. Shout out Tendency to defeat Trevor and Stone Mountain. And then Jimmy Rivera does Lazarus. Fun stuff. And then for our women's Dev Fed, we had Mischief defeating Amazing Kong in a 43. We had Becky Bayless, Millie Hosaka, and Madison Slayer defeating Miss True McCool and the Girls, which is, I guess, Tracy Taylor and Madison. Yeah. Again, interesting stuff. We had ODP defeating Allison Danger in her go-away match. Earl defeating Tracy Brooks. And Kim Nielsen defeating Miss Molly. I wonder, like, why aren't they defending the titles? Like, okay, I guess she hasn't defended in a while, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, I guess, okay, that makes more sense. Anyway, sorry. And I always forget, did I show you? Champion Carnival. You guys did not see this. Okay. So yeah, All Japan had their Champion Carnival, which of course doesn't, like, you can't really do a round robin for the EI, so they did it as this way. So to go over things, okay, so just to make sure I can figure this all out. Okay, so we had Hiroshi Hase defeat Marase Ayoge in a 52, Kawada defeated King Kumura in a 65, Too Cold Scorpio defeated Muhammad Yama in a 62, Mike Barton defeated Ishii in a 50, we had Hayabusa versus Nunzio in a 75, Teokaya defeated Fuchi in a 64, Takeyo Mori defeats Suwama to retain the Triple Crown title in a 68. Kawada defeated Scorpio in the semifinals. Hase defeated Barton in the semifinals in a 51. Then Kawada defeated Hase for the Champion Carnival in a 75. Other stuff of note. Pretending is still there. And yeah, that's about it. Let's see here. Was there anything else that I wanted to show you guys? I always forget because of the way I do this. It's by the time I see what happened last week, it's been a while. Anyway, let's go to HWA. HWA, I think, had, yeah, they had a weekly show, which had Folly Ball defeat Silas Young in 27, Dana Romer defeat Andrew Shearer in 23. Let's see here. Excalibur and Jimmy Jacobs beat Rocky Romero and Andy Douglas in 55, and Ray Steele defeat Corey Castle and Ricky Shane Page. Then for their big show, and he goes to Steele Young. Yeah, really not much of note there. OVW. Let's see here. Evan Chambers, who's a regen, who has some decent skills. Beat AJ Sparks. Russ Haas defeated John Cena. Interesting. Cyple the Sun defeated Shane Cassidy and Rory Fox in a 52. Let's see here. Shanta Hiller defeated Shara Stock to retain the OVW Divas title. Bradley and Pewter retained the tag titles over Rob Conway and Tony Mamluk in 63. Straight Masters defeated Danny Dorian to retain OVW title. And for the Saturday Loop show, Cavatelli and Shark Boy defeated Strong Casey and Rory Fox in a 50. Chuck Taylor and John Cena defeated John Morrison and Russ Haas in a match of 4 people who had very different careers. Let's see here. Danny Dorian defeated Charlie Haas. Joey Rodman defeated Bradley in his cage match. And Shane Taylor defeated Lizzie Morgan in the main event in a 50 for the Divas title. Then for their big show, we had John Morrison defeat John Cena in a match that would be in a very different spot in different cards in the future. Bloody Phoenix defeated AJ Sparks. Shane Taylor defeated Sarah Stock. I might need to bring Sarah Stock up to the main roster for the WWE. Lizzie Borden defeated Miss Natural in the main event in a 65. Sure. And that's about it. I always forget what else happened that I want to show you guys. Okay, that's old. Here, let me just go to news. Results. Okay. Nitro. WrestleWar. Okay, so Integrity, which is basically like the Ring of Honor, the Ring of Honor in this reality, since Ring of Honor became Ring of Violence because Rob Black and Vince Russo took over. We had John Moxley and Bobby Commanders defeated Emilio Contes and Brian Major. So 2 people and 1 regen and 1 person who didn't do much. Hey, we had Peter Goodman defeat Davey Richards. Okay. Is Goodman somebody who's, I'm forgetting his real name? Maybe. Brian Logan defeated Tomaselli. John Walters defeated Rorschach and Darkness Crabtree. Doug Basham won a 4-way. Eddie Colon defeated Shane Storm. David Young defeated Taylor Bateman. Shannon Baylor defeated Carly Colon in 60. Xavier Vega, Tony Kazina, and Mark Merrow defeated Matt Striker, John Phoenix, and Marcus Miltech in 62. And Jerry Lynn and Nice Train defeated Shane Ballard and Grace Fletcher. And I think that's actually all I wanted to show you guys. Yes, I believe. 0-1 also had a big show, which had Shiro Otani versus Josh Barnett for the 0-1 World title in 82. Akabono versus Hadaka in 77. And Hashimoto and Tom Zuhara defeated Tanaka and Saito in 70. And Scott Orton wrestled. Tiger Mask 4 wrestled. And that's where Makai and Onega won the tag titles. Yeah, and that's about it of note. Okay, cool. CCW is doing CCW stuff. Balls Mahoney versus Brian Lee in I Quit match. Sure. Sanime raising Red Team up to face off with Rick Blade just to paid. Sure. Dixie versus Jerry Sags. Okay. Yeah, that's not the Profit. Okay, cool. Okay. See, this is highly amusing to me. Onita was on a pre-show match. I mean, I realized because he's the book. Okay, I forgot he became the booker. Okay, that is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I did totally forget that he took over as booker, and more importantly, like, he has no overness in even though he's like, he would be an automatic main eventer in CW if he took over the, yeah. Again, this game isn't perfect sometimes, but it's still fun. Anyway, so yeah, we're moving forward. Solid shows, beating the build up for Slamboree, which, so far is just Kidman versus RVD. And obviously there's some other matches I'm sure you can figure out what are going to happen. But if you enjoyed this, go ahead and leave a like, comment below what you're liking and not liking, and subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content, including this series, my New Japan 2004 series, and my Ring of Honor 2022 series, where Cody Rhodes, instead of leaving AEW for WWE, took over Ring of Honor. But that's it for now, and talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.